everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Talk of the Town. Steve Putnam, glad to be with you, sitting right here today, minding my own business, and this person came in wanting to talk to us, and we're glad that you're here to talk to him. So let's swing this camera around and introduce you to somebody that I've never had on the show before. This is Mr. Jimmy Hall, and he is the owner and DJ for the WPCS podcast radio station. Welcome to our show.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much, sir.
It's a pleasure. And I got this wonderful card here that you've given me to look at. And we've been chatting and we've been going back and forth a little bit, but there may be some people out there going, he's what? so first off, tell us a little bit about how this came to be, what it is and how it came to be.
Okay, well, I've been DJing here in Shelby, North Carolina for about 37 years now. And recently, I graduated here at Cleveland Community College in the field of broadcasting in 2022. So from there, I started out with WPCS Shelby Podcast. We promote community success. And what we do is we go through the neighborhoods in and around Shelby, North Carolina, and the surrounding areas, and we find everybody that's doing positive things to uplift our community. We bring them to the podcast to let the world know that we have great people that's doing fantastic things in and around Shelby, North Carolina.
Well, that is fantastic. Now, in case there's some folks out there who don't know,
Right.
what is a podcast and how does this work?
Well, a podcast is basically we come in and do exactly what you and I are doing now. We just sit down and have a conversation about things that an individual or a company is doing that's uplifting our community. And then we take that and we put it on different media outlets so the world can see that we have great people here in Shelby, North Carolina.
So how did you get this idea when you were in classes with Mr. Foster here or Greg or
Well, it started out, I was originally supposed to go down to 105.3 FM in Charlotte, North Carolina.
I know that place.
Of course, the pandemic set in and God had a different route for me to go.
I understand that too.
So I actually started WPCS Shelby Podcast radio station here in Shelby, North Carolina. And today I'm just thankful that we have over 150 interviews on our station, and it's great. And we're just thankful for it.
That is awesome. Now, I know you said you've been a DJ, you've been working in this field
Right.
for close to 37 years, I think you said.
Right.
What's some of that looked like over time?
Well, I have been doing a lot of DJing parties, wedding receptions, fashion shows. It's just been fantastic just being able to be in the midst of individuals in the community and doing fantastic things for the community.
Well, I've been sitting here trying to figure out where our paths might have crossed before, and I think that might be part of it right there.
Exactly.
So I think I've been at some of the things that you've DJ'd before, but now I know that the podcast itself, where does that work? Do you go to them? Do they come to you? How's that work?
They come to our podcast. It's located at 701 Soto Street in Shelby, North Carolina. So they come there and we set them down and we conduct interviews.
That's just fantastic. Now, when you got started with this, I know that with the pandemic has taken a lot of people down different paths that they didn't think they were going to go down. When you got started with this, what's the response been to it?
Well, to be honest with you, when I first started out, a lot of people were saying, man, you'll do good to get 25 interviews. Well, believe it or not, it's like I was at 25 maybe in about like 2 months, which was super incredible because it's like one person, we call individuals up and say, hey, we'd like for you to come to the podcast, do an interview. And it's just like God just slowly but surely started increasing. And now all of a sudden it's like more than 150 interviews there.
Wow.
So, it's I tell you like I tell everybody else, it's not me, it's God doing this. I'm sitting on the passenger side, he's doing all the driving.
I understand that that concept as well. Now I know that you've had a chance to meet a lot of interesting people,
right?
And about the time that you've done this,
right?
What's probably one of the best experiences you think you've had so far with this?
I've had a lot of individuals that's been at the podcast. We had a magnificent show where we had some individuals to come in, some high school kids to come in,
right?
And they was actually talking about a gentleman that passed away at Moss Lake. That was very touching because these young kids today, there's a different world out here now compared to when we were growing up. And it's more or less trying to keep these young kids and everybody else unified together. I think there was a lot of feelings to where remorseful feelings. Not only that, but they was being united and trying to see how they could make that episode and what transpired then to where they can utilize that in their everyday living now, to where it would bring them more unifying together. So I think that was pretty good.
That sounds that's awesome. You know, I hear a lot of the same themes coming from this. I hear unity coming from you. I hear that you're really just trying to find and show something that I've become aware of
Right.
from doing this particular. You know, I don't know if you call this a show. I guess you do. It's a show.
Right, right.
For so many years, and that's the fact that it's not surprising to me, but it's constantly gratifying to me to see how much good there actually is in our community.
That's
how
right.
many good people there are, how many people that are willing to serve, how many people willing to donate, give of their time and money. And just it's really amazing. But I don't think some people see that nearly as often as they should, do they?
Right, right. Well, you know, you can always sit back and analyze things from different aspects, depending on the individual. You know, if you have it in your heart to really to do what's right and to be unified, you know, God will lead you to the area where you need to be at, I think.
There you go. I agree. Now, I know you've got some things coming up. Usually this is what we try to do. Say, okay, well, so what do you got planned?
Right.
Because it sounds like you've always got something going on. So what's coming up
Well,
that
we
we
have
probably
some-
ought to be aware of?
We have some exciting things that's coming up on Saturday, April the 13th. It's our Unity in the Community event, number 7. It's going to take place at Jefferson Playground, located at 1002 Buffalo Street in Shelby, North Carolina.
So this is number 7.
This is number 7. This is
So
number
you've
7.
had 6 of these.
Yes,
Wow,
sir.
There you
yes,
go.
sir. So it's all about the community, where we're trying to bring everybody together to basically just unify our community, because I feel like that's what we need in today's society. We need to be unified, everybody, not just one different age, race, group. Everybody needs to be unified because we're all God's people, and we all need to be unified.
I agree, and it seems to be so much that just about everything else is trying to pull us apart,
Right.
and put us in this camp or that camp or this
Exactly.
camp or that camp.
Exactly.
It just so I can't agree with you more on that. So tell us a little bit about what's going to happen at this
Well,
event.
we have different speakers that's going to be coming out speaking. We have bouncy houses for the kids to play at. We have
Just the kids.
Well, yeah, adults can't.
Oh, come on.
Unfortunately, the adults can't. Unfortunately, it's not for the
Okay.
adults. It's just for the kids.
just for the kids,
So
okay.
you know, there may be another time when the adults can come out and play in the bouncy houses.
I'm
But
gonna hold
this-
you to that.
Okay, but this one, unfortunately, you know, it's for the kids only.
Okay.
It's for the kids only. But we're gonna have some entertainment to come out. We're gonna have some individuals that's gonna be speaking, and our afternoon speaker is gonna be Bishop Randy Borders of Faith Harvest Church in Shelby, North Carolina. Pastor Tricia Littles at Kingdom Nation for God. She's the MC for this event. So it's going to be absolutely fantastic, and we're just looking for a super duper improbable Saturday, a great time in Shelby, North
Oh,
Carolina.
that sounds awesome. So now that's the first one.
That's the
That's
first
the
one.
first one. That's coming up
Exactly.
pretty soon. That's just right around the corner.
Yes, sir. Right around the corner. Right around the corner.
right.
And then we have Gospel Explosion that's going to happen on May the 18th and May the 19th at the Cleveland County Fairground.
That's
So
right,
what
right.
we're trying to do is to get every church choir around here in Shelby and the surrounding areas to come and participate in that. So we have several things that's going to be happening during this event. We have a few 70-inch TVs that has been donated that we're going to raffle off. Some church choir is going to win one of those.
Hey, look
So
at
we
there.
have 3 of those. And we have a lot of other gifts. Along with that, we're just wanting to get together just to spread the love of Jesus Christ. And not only that, but just to unify everybody. And that's what it's all about.
Oh, that is awesome too. And that's going to be at the fairgrounds.
Yes, sir. At the Cleveland County Fairground on Saturday, May the 18th, and Sunday, May the 19th.
Well, now I know you've got you've got some folks out there that might be listening and thinking, I didn't know that was going to happen. We've got a choir. I think we can do. How would they get?
Okay, so how
hooked
you
up with
can you reach out? You can reach out to us at WPCS Shelby Podcast radio station at 704-974-1593, or you can contact me at djdrjimhall@gmail.com, or you can stop by the podcast, which is located at 701 Solar Street in Shelby, North Carolina.
I'm gonna write it down. 701 Subtle Street. I forgot to do that earlier. All right, now, and I suppose the same thing would go for folks that I know you contact folks that you hear about and
Right.
say, hey, I hear you're doing good work. Let me get you on my show if you're willing to come.
Right.
Do you ever have people track you down and say, I want to be on your show. I want to tell everybody about this?
I do periodically, and individuals can reach out to me at 704-974-1566.
Read my mind. That's exactly what I was going to say. If there's somebody hearing this and they say, you know what, I know of something, or
Right.
I myself am involved in something.
Exactly.
So that's how they could do that. They need to reach out
Yes,
to you.
sir. We want to reach out to everybody that's doing positive things, that has a positive effect on our community in and around Shelby, North Carolina, and the surrounding areas, and invite them to WPCS Shelby Podcast so we can let the world know that we have some great people that's doing outstanding things in
There
Shelby,
you go.
North Carolina.
And your Unity in the Community, that's going to happen on April 13th.
Yes, sir.
And then your Cleveland, at the Cleveland County Fairgrounds, you're going to have a gospel explosion.
Right.
And that's going to be May 18th and May 19th.
Yes, sir. May the 18th and May the 19th.
And I know you've given me this wonderful card right here. If folks just want to tune in and listen to your podcast, what's the best way to do that?
They can do that on Spotify. You can catch me on Facebook, WPCS Shelby Podcast Facebook page, or you can check it out on my personal page, Jimmy Hall. You can see all of the wonderful interviews that we've had. You can listen to them on Spotify in case you're riding down the road and you just want to just tune in and just listen to an episode. You can catch it on Spotify, WPCS Shelby Podcast. Check us out. It's great.
Well, thank you for being on our show today.
You're
We
quite
appreciate
welcome.
It.
You're
and thank
quite
you for
welcome.
all that you're doing about spreading the good word and the good news.
You're quite welcome. Thank you as well.
And thank you for being here for the first part of our show, but we're not done with you yet. So if you get out there and go to the refrigerator, you got to come back because there's more talk of the town right after this.
The only prediction I'd make is I'd be pretty willing to bet I won't be doing it in 20 more years.
My question is, where's our residual checks?
144 have taken Republican ballots, and Wes and two others have taken Libertarian ballots.
Pravda, however, TBS, however.
Wes.
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 Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Talk of the Town. I'm still right here. Glad you made it back from the kitchen, and we've got somebody new sitting right over here. So let's pan the camera around and introduce everybody out there to Miss Mary Beth Martin. She's the Executive Director of the Earl Scruggs Center right here in Shelby. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
Now, we've had you on here before, and we're glad to have you back. Every time you hear that means something good's about to happen.
Yeah, we always have a lot going on at
You
the Earl
do.
Scruggs
You
Center,
always have
so
a
I'm
lot going on.
Always happy to come on and talk with you and, tell you and all the good people about it. So
Now, how long have you actually been the Executive Director out there?
about 5.5 years.
Boy, time flies.
Yeah,
doesn't
so
it?
right before COVID, I
Of course.
started then and, now it's after COVID and, we've got a lot going on. It seems like we're, kind of back and better than ever.
I was going to say, yeah, that was tough because I remember us having an interview right after COVID and you thinking, what have I got myself into less than a year after I start doing this?
Yeah.
The world falls apart, but I know it's like, but it is. Things have turned around, and actually I agree with you. It's like people now can't wait to get out and go do things and be a part of things.
Yeah,
And so,
it really feels like our community is thriving now, with the opening of the rail trail and the things happening at the Scruggs Center and the Foothills Farmers Market. It's just it's a really
right. And just
thriving
uptown
place
in
to
general.
be.
Uptown
Yeah.
in general is just a really
exciting.
cool, fun place to be. It's got a good vibe. And you're right in the middle of it. Literally, right in the middle of it.
right in the middle of the county.
That's
So
it, the center.
It's a good place to be.
It is a good place to be. So how are things at the Scruggs Center?
Things are great. We're celebrating our 10th anniversary this year, and also Earl's 100th birthday. So it's a really big year for the Scruggs Center.
There you go. So I know that means you've probably got a lot of things planned, a lot
We
of things
do.
going on. So
Yeah, we have something really exciting that we want to share with Cleveland County. We started talking about how we can make the Scruggs Center more accessible for Cleveland County residents. And for the first 10 years that we've been in operation, we've had a free day for Cleveland County residents, and that has historically been on Wednesdays.
Right.
Well, we've decided to change that to Saturdays. And like I said, because there's so much going on in Uptown Shelby, because it's a time when families, when people who work, people who don't work want to get out and do something nice or something fun on a Saturday. So we wanted to offer that free admission to Cleveland County residents
Oh,
on
that is
Saturdays.
awesome.
Yes.
So
That's
how long
very
is this?
exciting.
How long has this been going on?
So it started this month,
This
April
month?
1st.
There you
yes.
go.
But it'll, be from now on. So we just invite Cleveland County residents to come to the Scruggs Center any day, but if you want free admission, come on Saturdays.
That's a good incentive.
Yeah.
Now I know that when folks do come, because I know I've been several times, and when they do come, yes, it's all about Earl, but there's a lot going on in there, isn't there?
Absolutely. There's, like you said, it's about Earl, but it's also about the story of this community, and we tell Earl's story alongside that, and talk about how this community shaped him and who he became, and talk about all the other important like cultural traditions and the history of this community. So really, there's something for everyone there, in addition to the events and concerts and things that we have going on. So.
You know, growing up, I was always aware of Earl Scruggs and then that he was from our area. And I was aware of Don Gibson and the fact that he was from our area. I don't know that it sunk in with me just how much music was woven into the fabric of Cleveland County. You know, I grew up here in Cotton is King, Cotton is King, Cotton is King. But really, music is one of those things that's just sort of give this community the flavor and the culture that it's a part of. I mean,
Yeah, I feel like Cleveland County is a really special place in that way. I moved here 15 years ago and just immediately was affected and realized like what a musical community this is. And, like you said, it's really truly woven into the fabric. I mean, when you talk about the textile mills and that history of the community, that was a community for music too. You had Earl Scruggs and Don Gibson both who worked in textile mills and who were collaborating and jamming with some of their fellow mill workers, at the time. That really shaped the musicians that they became. So, but that's all through the history of Cleveland County music, and not just country and bluegrass too. You've got a strong blues scene, and the music being made today is exceptional. So, Cleveland County is a special place for music.
sure is. And that's represented at the Scruggs Center, isn't it?
All that's represented there.
That is cool. Now, I know you've got some events coming up that you really want to talk about and get us all excited about, because I'm reading about them on the sheet here, and I'm getting kind of happy about them myself. So tell us a little bit about what you've got happening.
So right now we're in the middle, or we're just starting the Center Stage concert series, and this is something this is the third year that we've had Center Stage, and we have a great list of concerts for you. It started back in March, so we've had one show, but we
there you
have
go.
an awesome show coming up in just a couple weeks on April 16th, and it's Tim O'Brien and Jan Fabricius, and they are nationally touring artists, and they're going to be right here at the Earl Scruggs Center in our great hall, which will have 100 seats, and so it's a wonderful place to see a Grammy-winning artist up close, and that's what all of our Center Stage concerts are
wow.
like. Yeah.
Well, I know, and you said Grammy-winning artists. That's true. I mean, they're going to be right here now. I know that we're going to talk a little bit about how people can get tickets for this, or how they can get involved in that. But that's what you do, isn't it? That's you're the one, or you're the brainchild behind a lot of this, aren't you?
Oh well, we have
come
we
on
have
now.
a wonderful staff at the Scruggs Center. No, and really, we have
Yeah.
to collaborate to make all this stuff happen. But I do think the concert series is something we really are proud of, because we are bringing these exceptional artists to Cleveland County, and giving Cleveland County residents an opportunity to see them up close and to really get to know the artists and hear the stories behind the music. I think a lot of people are really interested in that.
Right.
And for an affordable price. So you're talking about how to buy tickets. To see Tim O'Brien in a small theater like that, for $35 is, almost unheard of. And so I just think it's really important that we offer these opportunities for Cleveland County.
Oh, I think so too. Absolutely. And I know this is one of the things, I'm looking at the dates here. You've got one coming up just about every month through the summer, don't you?
Yeah, so from March to August, that's historically been our center stage concert series where we offer one show a month. They're on Thursday evenings. They last about an hour, hour and a half. So it's really just a perfect time to come out and see a show.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I know it's not the only thing you've got
No,
going on,
you know,
but-
we were talking, and I think I got a little out of order from my list here, but one thing that I really encourage people to come see is, like I said, we're celebrating Earl's 100th birthday. And in that, we're looking carefully at Earl's time here in Cleveland County. He was born in 1924, and then he left here to pursue music full-time in 1945. So we've taken handwritten notes that we have in our collection, memoirs from Earl, and we have crafted an exhibit that looks at Earl's life here in Cleveland County during that time. It's called Born of the Broad River, and that's something I encourage Cleveland County residents to come and see because it talks about, you know, what life was like in Cleveland County and that during that time from 1924 to 1945. You know, growing up on a cotton farm, working in textile mills, learning how to sing harmony in church, you know, things that a lot of Cleveland County residents would have experienced during that time that are an important part of, you know, what makes up the culture and the traditions of Cleveland County. And so all that's reflected in that exhibit, and it's a really, really special exhibit, and we've already seen people from all over the country travel to the Scruggs Center to see it because it really tells you how Cleveland County made Earl the person and the musician that he was. And so I think
Right.
I just encourage everyone to come out and see it. It's a special thing.
I do too. That's going to be amazing. And I know that that's something that happens at the Scruggs Center. It's not, like I was saying earlier, it's not just that you have, you know, the music and you always have an exhibit. You always have something else there. And it just happens to be, in this case, that it's an exhibit about him and his early life here in Cleveland County. But that is really something that people need to come and see. And I'm really glad about that that's coinciding with the Saturday admission so that more folks from Cleveland County can come in because that's things that we were talking about before this that I heard, you know, stories from my parents who were born at the same time and lived through that same era. But that's a time that unless someone does something like this, it's hard for people today to comprehend, you know, what was that actually like living in a time like that and growing up, you know, in a time, you know, when that's the way life was, because it's very different in this county now. But the music is still there. That's the one thing that has sort of been the commonality between it. You know, even back then when life was so different, music was at the core and the center of everything. Today, life is different from it was back then. Music still seems to be at the core of what we're about here in this county. So, you know, there's that symmetry that seems to draw everything together that I love that keeps getting represented at the Scruggs Center.
Well, thank you. I don't think I could have said it better. Yeah.
Well, see, I could be a publicist now. No, but now I know when we're looking at this and those exhibits, are you the one who curates and who puts these exhibits together?
So we do have a curator. He's our curator and our assistant director, and his job is to, you know, pull items from the collection or to look at certain themes and information that's out there and pull together these exhibits that will be not only interesting but, you know, important and educational to our community and to really the region around us. And so it can be anything. You know, the Earl Scruggs Center is music and stories of the American South, so it can be anything along, you know, those themes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
so,
awesome.
So every year we'll have a new traveling exhibit or special exhibit that's curated in-house. So, you know, that there'll always be something new for someone to come
Right.
back
And you
see.
said something too that I know initially doesn't really anymore, but initially took me by surprise. And I think the Scruggs Center opening is what opened my eyes to this. And that is how well known he is around the world. And how far people will come to see, you know, the place where he was born and raised and where this music was, you know, first came out in him. It's just amazing to me that, you know, because I remember talking to the first, you know, people that were managing the Scruggs Center. It's like, well, have you had people from how many states? And I wasn't expecting them to say all 50, but they actually, and this is just right after it opened. Oh yeah, all 50 states. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, and more than 20 countries.
20 countries,
You're
there
talking
you
about,
go.
you know, Earl's impact. Yes, Earl sort of hit the national stage in 1945, but the way he played the banjo and the way he looked at music was just so different. And he was able to create a place for the banjo in popular music where, it really hadn't had one before.
Right.
And so, and not just the way he played the banjo, but just the way he was an innovator in music in general. He was, willing to experiment in all genres and play with musicians, of all backgrounds and all genres. Just really has continued to influence people. Like
has.
it's pretty amazing to see young people, kids come to the Earl Scruggs Center, and Earl Scruggs is their hero, and they
Right.
want to play music and be just like Earl Scruggs.
Right, and
And someone who was born in 1924.
1924. I know that's what's so amazing to me. And you hear groups today incorporating banjo into their songs and like, and then when they do, they give Earl credit, and they're like, wow, this is just
Everyone
really
is still
incredible.
trying to do it like Earl. You're talking about someone who set the foundation and really set the standard in 1945.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Now, we could talk all day about this, but I know we've got you got some other things coming up that are a little further down the road, but you also want to get out there. So tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about some of the other events coming
Yeah,
up.
one thing that's really exciting that I want to share with people because it's happening in the month of April
Right.
is Ron Rash is coming to the Earl Scruggs Center.
Mm-hmm.
He is a New York Times best-selling author from Cleveland County. And so he's not been back in Cleveland County or given a talk in Cleveland County in quite a while. And so he's coming back, and he's going to talk about his newest book, The Caretaker. And so he will be at the Earl Scruggs Center on April 25th.
On April 25th.
Yes, and it's $5 for Earl Scruggs Center members. So join the Earl Scruggs Center, you get discounts for
There you
events,
go.
or $10 for non-members to have a conversation with Ron where he'll talk about
Mm-hmm.
that book, talk about other things, have a time to question and answer with the audience, and there'll also be books for sale at that event.
And then, I know this is a couple of months out, but I love Picking on the Square. So tell us a little bit about when
Yeah,
that starts.
That's really one of our signature events. This is the 10th year of Picking on the Square, and it happens the second Saturdays of June, July, and August.
Right.
And so we're really excited to bring that back this year. We're changing it a little bit. Traditionally, it's been in the evenings on those Saturdays. We're moving it to 11 a.m. And so to kind of take advantage of all the activity that happens in Uptown Shelby, people will be in town for the farmers market, eating in the restaurants. Also, come experience some music on the Court Square at that time. We'll have a band play at 11, a bluegrass band play at 11 a.m. from 11 to 12, and then it'll be an open jam session. And so we encourage any musicians from around the community or around the region
Yeah, that's the part that's so
to
fun
come out
to
and
me. I love
collaborate
that part.
together and kind of participate in that tradition of a bluegrass jam session.
That is so cool. And then I know you also have some camps that you're thinking about, because I know it's getting to be springtime and parents are always thinking now, okay, what am I going to do with my kids this summer? Tell us a little about your kid camps.
Yeah, we're really excited about our banjo and guitar camps this summer. This is the first time that we've offered a camp.
Right.
So in June, we're going to have a guitar camp, and it's going to be 5 days in June from the 10th through the 14th.
14th, yep.
And it's $40. It's for beginner guitar players. You don't have to have ever touched the instrument. And so you can go to our website and you can sign up for that. It's with instructor Justin Harper. And if you need an instrument or if you need a scholarship to attend, contact us. There's a form to fill out. Let us know.
That is awesome. Well, thank you for all you do at the center. And of course, thank you for being here on our show today.
Yeah.
We
Glad
just-
to be here. Thanks for
Glad
having
to
me.
have you. And we're glad that you were here with us today, too, because if you don't tune in, we don't have a show. So we appreciate it. We also appreciate story ideas. You can send those at info@c19.tv. Right here on the bottom of the screen, you see that address. We would love to hear what you know is happening right here in Cleveland County, but we don't know, so we can't get those people in these chairs. But if you'll send that email, we'll make it happen. But until then, this is Steve Putnam signing off saying I hope you have a great week.